Can you believe how far Daredevil has come? From his humble beginnings as a comic book character in the early 1960s to becoming one of the most iconic superheroes in the modern era, Matt Murdock's journey is as remarkable as his dual life as both a lawyer and vigilante. While often overshadowed by other Marvel superheroes like Spider Man, Thor, and Captain America, Daredevil has maintained a unique and loyal fan base, primarily because of his personality, his grittiness, and often his moral complex storylines. His journey from comic book character to the big screen, then onto the Netflix series and Disney Plus in 2025, is a testament to his staying power and his ability to evolve as a character. Let's take a deep dive into the journey and history of the character that's Daredevil. Daredevil, the alter ego of Matt Murdock, was created by writer Stan Lee and artist Bill Everett with the input of Jack Kirby. The character made his first appearance in Daredevil 1 in April 1964. Set in the gritty and dangerous neighborhood of Hell's Kitchen in New York City, Matt Murdock's origins were tragically rooted in loss and hardship. As a child, Murdock was blinded in a chemical accident when he pushed a man from the path of an ongoing truck. The radioactive substance splashed across his face didn't just take his sight, it heightened his remaining senses to superhuman levels. Murdock's blindness transformed to a form of radar sense that allowed him to see the world in a way that made him far more aware than just a typical blind person. Raised by his single father, Jack Murdock, a former boxer, Matt found himself thrust into a life of tragedy when his father was murdered by gangsters after refusing to throw a fight. Alone and orphaned, Matt vowed to fight back against criminals who took his father's life. It wouldn't be until he met his mentor, Stick, that would train him into the expert martial artist that we would know today as Daredevil. From there, Matt Murdock would go on to graduate law school and become a lawyer fighting for justice in the courtroom and becoming Daredevil, a masked vigilante fighting for justice out on the streets. In the 1980s, writer Frank Miller took over the Daredevil comics, trying to bring more life into the character. He would introduce a darker, more mature theme that would define the character for decades to come. Miller's run is often credited with turning Daredevil into a symbol of gritty, noir-inspired anti-hero archetype that would influence many of the future comic book stories and comic book characters that would come out of the decade. He introduced the infamous villain Elektra and gave Daredevil a much deeper, more tragic backstory exploring themes that the character had not seen before. Miller would also pave way for creators like Brian Mitchell Bendis and Ed Brubaker to explore a deeper, more complex narrative in the 2000s. If it was not for Frank Miller, the character of Matt Murdock and Daredevil would have never truly developed into the identity we know today. After decades of being a staple within the comic book world, Daredevil finally made his leap to a live-action movie in 2003. The film Daredevil, starring Ben Affleck, would bring to life a character that not many people knew. It is often credited as being one of the first Marvel movies to really open the door for unique characters. Many have stated that this is the reason why the Marvel Cinematic Universe became what it was, as it showed that unique Marvel characters could adapt to the big screen, creating a new vision that had not been seen before. Though that movie, many would say, was not a critical hit or a big hit with fans, it showcased that Marvel had characters that were strong enough, that could garner enough attention, that were unique enough to become something different. This was when Daredevil was truly introduced to a wider audience, and it set the scene for a future revival of the character. In 2015, Marvel and Netflix teamed up to create a new, much darker and grittier version of Daredevil for Netflix. Starring Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, the Daredevil TV series took full advantage of the serialized nature of television to dive deeper into the complex emotional struggles of Matt Murdock, the show really leaned into the unique tones of Frank Miller that made the character so unique. The series was groundbreaking. It once again showed, with a good story, a Marvel character could rule on the screens. It really was a unique and different approach that they took to the character that really made it stick on Netflix. What also made it very valuable for Netflix was the fact that they had more freedom to utilize different scenarios, scenes, without dealing with regular television ratings. This opened the door for Matt Murdock to become more of a mainstream character, allowing more people to see the story of Daredevil. It also allowed for Netflix and Marvel to explore the narrative even more behind the character and the supporting cast within Daredevil's arena. The success of Daredevil on Netflix led to two more seasons of the show, as well as crossovers with other Marvel characters like Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, all that would have their own TV shows for lesser known characters on Netflix. However, after Marvel would leave Netflix, there would be ambiguity of what would happen to the Daredevil character, as with Disney's ownership of Marvel and contracts with Netflix, it made it seem like we would never see Daredevil again. The Netflix series would be canceled and the character would semi disappear. However, in 2021, Cox would make his return as Daredevil in Spider Man No Way Home, making his first appearance in the official MCU. His brief but memorable cameo as Matt Murdock, where he helps Peter Parker with legal troubles, was a thrilling moment for fans, as it once again showcased the MCU coming together. This year, in 2025, Daredevil Born Again premiered on Disney Plus. It had been a show many have been waiting for, and many fans have been eager to see the character integrated within the broader Marvel universe. Now that Daredevil is officially part of the MCU, it opens a lot more stories that can be told. There is no doubt that this will add an extra layer to the complexity of Daredevil. The character will continue to grow and expand, whether that's been in comic books, TV, cartoons, or in merchandise. The character of Daredevil has come off strong. Many Marvel fans consider him one of the more unique superheroes, and he has his own strong fan base in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What's been your opinion of Daredevil? Are you excited for the show to be back? Did you watch the latest episode? Let us know in the comments below your opinion. We would love to hear from all of you. And like always, we appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Believable truths.